through their early season schedule, solidifying their status as the #1 team in the nation. With wins over Xavier and Kentucky, Montego Cummings and the Pittsburgh Panthers have clawed their way into the top 25 for the first time in 5 years. It's the Huskies and the Panthers next. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's Big East Conference basketball. The undefeated top-ranked Huskies against the #18 Panthers of the University of Pittsburgh. We welcome all of you to Fitzgerald Fieldhouse this afternoon. I'm John Sanders, along with Larry Conley. UConn undefeated, and at this point, you look at what they've done, they deserve to be #1.
John, I would agree. As you take a look at their schedule and what they've been able to accomplish the last week, take a look at these 3 wins against a good Washington club, against Michigan State at home, and of course, the win over Massachusetts. While it was not very pretty, it was still a big win for them. And you got a lot of weapons for this club, but I think Kevin Freeman may be the model of consistency for this team. In the 3 years he's been there, his scoring has gone up every year, including this year, and that rebounding average has stayed right at 6. He's the guy that when they ask him to do something, day in and day out, he delivers.
Hamilton and Elamine get a lot of the attention. You look at the University of Pittsburgh, they got a lot of attention early this year when they were scorching the nets off to a 6-0 start.
Well, I think what has happened is that their shot has really abandoned them. Take a look at these first 6 games versus the last 4. 50% in that first 6 games. But all of a sudden, they've got very cold from the perimeter. But what they do have is a good, strong inside game. And the guy that leads them in there, obviously, is Isaac Hawkins. The only guy in the Big East who's averaging a double-double right now. And he's going to need those numbers today against the Connecticut front court that may be as good as anybody in the nation.
The fans and the students here at Pittsburgh have been urged to wear white. There's no snow in sight, but the Panthers would like to white out the #1 team in the nation. Now here in Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, the Panthers are back in the top 20 for the first time in a long time. White is the color of the day, and the opponents #1 in the second time in school history, the Huskies of Connecticut. Elamine, Hamilton, Freeman, Voskuhl, and Ricky Moore, who's been a steadying influence as a team captain for 3 years.
John, and talking to Jim Calhoun, the basketball coach of Connecticut, as you look at his numbers right there, he was very, very complimentary of Moore.
The Pittsburgh Panthers off to a 7-3 start. Lockhart will start because of continuing back problems for Kelly Taylor, who's been snake bitten by injury since he's been at Pitt.
Yeah, this could be a big problem because Moore was the guy that actually, or Taylor was the guy that actually got them started this year, and for him to go down again really hurts them.
Well, Ralph Willard finally getting his team after bringing all 5 starters back this year, getting some national recognition. He's been looking for it since he came from Western Kentucky.
But John, one of the problems that Ralph Willard has had is the injury bug has really hurt them the last couple of years. Finally, he's gotten Taylor maybe healthy. We don't know until we take a look today whether or not he gets Taylor back in that lineup again. But this is a guy he really desperately needs to have out there.
John Cowell is our referee. Ed Corbett and Steve Welmer are the umpires, and we are just about set for basketball as Voskuhl and Attila Cosby, the sophomore, will jump it up. 4th game in the last 12 days for Connecticut. Both these teams are heading into final exams starting next week. But we're underway. A little noontime basketball. Settle back, enjoy some lunch. The Panthers and the Huskies. Here's Greer.
Did you get your coffee finished?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Missed donuts, though. I think you ate them all. Lockhart well on the perimeter. Cosby.
Good defense by Connecticut. Man-to-man, you can see Hamilton really putting the pressure on Greer out front.
And Greer looks to score as he drives down the lane, puts up a shot that's partially blocked, tipped up. Cosby has it. Shot clock is at 7. Stolen, and here comes Moore. Lays it in.
Ricky Moore, one of the best defensive guards you will find not only in the Big East, but in the nation. This guy is really quick.
The first strike comes from that defense, and both of these teams get a lot of their offense, Larry, off their defense.
Yeah, Jim Calhoun very proud of that fact. In fact, he bragged to us more about that than anything while we were visiting with him this morning.
He didn't talk about individuals. He talked about the team defense. Panthers work the shot clock down to 12. Good pressure defense on the perimeter so far by the Huskies. No good looks. Lockhart from long range, and bingo, that's one of his specialties.
John, that's going to be a positive for them. The way their guards have been shooting recently, that may be a momentum builder because their confidence is eroded somewhat because of the way they have been shooting on the perimeter.
Inside, Voskuhl gets it up and lays it home. Voskuhl got the good feed, got loose inside, and the Huskies go back on top.
As long as I've watched that young man play, I think he could be more of a scorer. I really do.
They want him to be more of a scorer, but he's never been interested in high school as big as he was. He only averaged 12 points a game. Greer on the perimeter against Hamilton. It's a good matchup. Here's Cummings, who's yet to take a shot. Working on Moore. Boy, that's a long time matchup between those two. Forced inside, tipped away, and brought out by Hamilton. It's a 1-on-4, and he backs it off to Moore. Here comes Freeman down the lane off the glass. Too strong. Gets his own rebound. Has it stripped underneath. The Panthers have it down by 1. We've played just over 2 minutes. From the side, the shot is short by Hawkins. Here is Elamine to Moore. Pulls up for 3. Moore got it.
John, I talked to Ralph Willard yesterday during their workout. I said, what do you have to do to Connecticut to shut them down? He says, the first thing we have to do is stop their transition game. Second thing is, don't allow them to get a lot of layups. That happened against them against St. John's, who got a number of easy baskets.
Well, they worked so hard. They worked for 3 hours yesterday, Larry, and they worked very hard on the transition, both theirs and stopping the transition of the Huskies.
He says, we want to make Connecticut take jump shots, pull up jump shots, not allow them to get into that quick up and down game.
This is Cosby. Gives it off to Greer. Shot clock inside 10 again. Credit that to the Connecticut defense. No easy looks so far for Pittsburgh. Cummings for 3. Little too strong. Tipped up. Put back up and in on the side by Lockhart.
Lockhart off to a good start. An able replacement for Taylor.
Well, the scoring, 5 for Lockhart. On the other side of the ledger, Ricky Moore has 5 to lead the way for the Huskies. Scramble for the loose ball, controlled by Connecticut. Voskuhl down the lane he comes, and it rolls in.
Boy, Jake Voskuhl a little more aggressive on the offensive end in the early going here.
4-point lead, the biggest lead for either team so far in the early going. Just 3.5 minutes in. Turnaround by Cosby, bending off, and there's Voskuhl. Nice rebound. Moore to Elamine. He's got Freeman on the wing. Gives it up to Freeman, and he turns it over. That's the first time the clock has been stopped. We've been non-stop basketball for the first 3.5 minutes.
John, it's a very difficult pass to handle. Elamine almost handed the ball to him, and there was nowhere for Freeman to go to the basket once he got in that close. He needed to spread out a little bit, get a little spacing between he and Freeman, and it would have been a little bit better play. Freeman couldn't do anything with it, and the reason he traveled.
Edmund Saunders, number 51, is checked into the lineup for the Huskies. He's playing well off the bench. Joined also by Albert Mooring, a 6'3" sophomore from Preston, Maryland, who's also given him good minutes off the bench.
Okay, there are a lot of good teams in this country this year, but I want to tell you, I don't know 2 teams who have more depth than Syracuse and Connecticut.
What was so shocking, and we'll talk more about that surprising loss at Morgantown by the Orange the other night. Hawkins from outside, good. It's a 2.
That was great recognition that time by Cummings, giving the ball up. The double team didn't work.
Hamilton for 3. No, it's a 2. Hamilton gets his first basket, and he has not been shooting the ball as we've seen him the last couple of years.
John, what a start. I'll jump in once in a while.
They're not going to wait for us, Larry. 4-point lead for the Connecticut Huskies, ranked number 1. Taylor, who's in the lineup for the first time, gives it up to Cosby. Working against Saunders.
Well, Connecticut, good body defense. Look at it. They put a body on everybody who's got the ball.
Greer goes to Hawkins, deflected. He saves it. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
It's going to go up.
Cummings for 3 from straight away, rimming off. Rebound to Mooring.
He is still struggling with his shot.
Ricky Moore, who's had some injury problems of his own this year, and that push-off is going to be called on Ricardo Greer. We've had very little time that we've been stopped. That's the first foul of the first half.
Let's take a breath.
And we're going to do just that right now with 15:24 remaining in the first half. It's an 11-7 lead for the top-ranked Huskies.
I talked a great deal about this defense of Connecticut's, and it is an outstanding defense. And I think really triggered by their guards. Watch right here, the steal by Ricky Moore. Good anticipation, picking the ball up and taking it end to end. This guy is a tremendous player and has been the whole career he's been at Connecticut. Take a look at Lockhart on the other end for Pitt. Coming up with a good offensive rebound here on the slap away and sticks it back up before anybody has a chance to get to him. He's off to a good start with 5 points.
And UConn offensively 5 out of 6 so far. Look at the shooting overall. Pittsburgh is 3 out of 9. The Huskies have the ball and a 4-point lead as we have 15:20 remaining in the opening half. I'm John Sanders along with Larry Conley. Glad to have you aboard for this lunch hour Big East basketball contest. And what about December conference games? The coaches don't necessarily like them.
You know, I kind of like them because I kind of think it gives an impetus to the season. It gets everybody prepared for a few games. And as large as the Big East is with the number of teams they've got, they don't really have a choice. I mean, they've got to play those games in December.
13 teams, but all in one division this year. No more Big East 7, Big East 6. We'll just play one 13-team division. Stolen away by Taylor. He's got Greer on the wing, gives it up, and he slams it.
Well, you talk about an athletic player. Ricardo Greer can get up. Good sign of seeing Taylor handling the ball in the middle, making the pass.
Hamilton short with his second three. Voskuhl touched it last. Pittsburgh basketball down by 2.
We showed you Ricky Moore earlier making the good steal. Watch Kelly Taylor right here answering the same way. Guard gives it up to the left side, and an easy one for Greer. It's good to see Taylor up and down the floor right there. Maybe his back is not bothering him as bad as we thought.
Well, he had the back surgery that knocked him out of one whole season, and he still struggles with back problems at times. He's an excellent defensive player.
Of course, he missed that season, or most of it last year, with that foot problem.
Yeah, he's had all kinds of injury problems. 3rd turnover so far by the Pitt Panthers, who are down by 2. There they are. It's one thing that they specialize in. It's amazing to see Cummings do that defensively and then be one of the top scorers in the conference as well. Voskuhl gets low against Hawkins, looks to Elamine. Reversal to Mooring, starts to penetrate. Kelly cut him off. Hamilton. Pittsburgh switching nicely on defense. Hamilton all alone underneath with the missing the layup, though, was Saunders. The foul goes on Jake Voskuhl inside. That's going to get Freeman off the bench and headed back to Jim Calhoun's lineup. Down by 2 with 14:10 to play first half.
John Pitt did a nice thing defensively that time. They got the ball inside that time, but they made a good adjustment in switching over. Now here comes Connecticut with a little full court pressure.
But they find Taylor in the corner. Immediately puts up a 3. It's good. Taylor shooting 46% from three-pointers, and the Panthers have made a couple so far. They have the lead underneath. Pushed from behind that time was Mooring.
Well, you talk about a guy who's played well. How about Albert Mooring in his last 4 games? Averaging 12 a game, and it's only with 20 minutes per game average play.
That is unbelievable.
Nice weapon, huh?
Think back a couple of years ago, this Connecticut team has had so much success. We're only losing 32 games in the last 5 years, but 3 of those came in one season to Pittsburgh. Second time the Panthers have had the lead, each time by 1 point.
But you know, John, that gets back to the point I was talking about. Jim Calhoun's club having all this depth. I mean, Mooring is a lot of that. I mean, he comes off the bench. Any night you can look over there and find a guy that you can put out there who'll get you 8 or 10 points. That's a big weapon.
But he has struggled at the line, only 5 of 13, and you can see the white. They asked for it, and it's very much in evidence so far here in the first half. And this can be a tough place to win the friendly confines of Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, which will be replaced in the not too distant future. But they've moved back away from the games, Larry, that they used to play in the Civic Arena, and only that crosstown matchup with Duquesne will be there. Everything else is going to be right here, so get ready, Big East opponents.
It's a great place to play. I mean, it's a home court advantage without question.
Cummings with a leaner won't go. Cosby has the rebound, lost the handle, then regains it. Jump hook, bending no good. Rebounded underneath by Suleiman Wan. Into the lineup for the first time. Goes to Elamine. Khalid kicks it to Mooring. He's got a 3 on the way and good.
Oh, what a weapon. Bring a guy onto the bench who can nail threes like there and play defense and rebound the way he does.
Officials timeout. A 22nd timeout has been taken by the University of Pittsburgh. It comes with 13:07 to play, and I hope you like a lot of up and down action because we have a tough time getting a stoppage in this game.
Well, what makes it refreshing is the fact that all year long, at least up until this point, we've been watching a lot of clubs trying to hold on and run the shot clock. Watch again as you see Connecticut handling the basketball. Watch Mooring on the left side be on the stripe. Boy, he's got a nice look on that jump shot. Got his feet underneath of him, got a good follow through, and Connecticut spread the floor very well. Elamine delivering the pass, which he does so very well. And
you could see underneath that Bontigo Cummings had to be aware of a man going low, so he could not jump out on the perimeter right away.
You got to like this Connecticut club because I talked about all the weapons they have, but Elamine really is the guy. He is the trigger. He's the guy that runs this club.
6 of 9 early shooting for the Huskies. The Panthers just 5 of 13. Trouble for Hawkins, and off the timeout, he's going to have to call another timeout.
Cummings couldn't get free.
Another 22nd timeout. Nobody was open. So they've gone back to back. This series, despite the success that Connecticut has had in the 90s, Larry, is very even.
Well, you were talking about earlier, I mean, UConn has had such a great last couple of years. I mean, Jim Calhoun, and talking to him about his clubs over the last couple of years, he sort of feels like that last year's club was better than this year's. And I said, Jim,
it's hard to believe.
Yeah, it is. And I said, I've watched you a couple of times on TV this year. I said, I feel like your defense might be a little bit better than it was last year. Well, he says, you got to pick your times. He said, there are times when we play very well on the defensive end. I said, well, I saw you in Greensboro last year, and while you may not be happy with the final result in that one, I did see you play awfully good defense.
They have been known for their defense. They will squeeze you to the side. They'll trap you, double team you, and wind up taking it away. Right now, up by 3, 15-12. Huskies have the lead. Panthers have the ball. Here's Lockhart. 5 early points for him. He's one of those guys that can get hot, and you just can't stop him. Cummings is yet to score. Here's Lockhart's second 3, and it hits the bottom of the basket.
Well, he has been terrific. Good start for that young man, and we're tied again.
8 points for him, the third three-pointer in the first 7.5 minutes for Pittsburgh.
Well, Taylor has really put pressure on Elamine.
Roshamel Jones, you saw on the court for the first time. Little penetration by Mooring, reverses to Elamine, who's yet to take a shot. Here comes Jones, penetrates baseline, stripped by Cummings. Third turnover by the Huskies. The Panthers come back. In a tie ball game, a chance to take their third lead in the first half. Cosby faces the basket, starts toward the lane, and travels. Freeman would not give an inch, would he?
He would not. Looked like he was taking a stroll over these Pittsburgh hills. I mean, he had about 4 steps in there.
That is Oliver Antigua sitting next to Ralph Willard. He was a team manager, part-time player here, and now he is an assistant coach. And his brother, Orlando Antigua, who played here, joined practice for a while yesterday afternoon.
Still can play a little bit.
Yep. Player still plays in the United States with the Globetrotters. More on the perimeter. Looks to Elamine. Quickly to Freeman. Thought about it. Quickly double-teamed and stolen away. Numbers for the Pitt Panthers. 3-on-1. Lockhart looking spot for that 3 and draw the foul. When you're hot, Larry, go for the 3.
You know what made that play, though? Montego Cummings coming down the floor, I think in the past would have thrown that shot up there, but I think in his mind he is struggling with his shot. And he saw Lockhart standing wide open on the left over and delivered a good pass. Watch Cummings right here. He's averaging about 4 assists a game. He gives that ball up. He's easily taken that shot. Gave it to Lockhart, who now will have a chance to make 3.
And the Panthers have been shooting from the foul line very well. Lockhart already has 9 points. They've made now 8 of their last 9, but in the loss to St. John's, they shot 1 free throw the entire game.
In fact, they've only been to the line a total of 8 times in the last 2 games.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Well, Ralph Willard was expressing that to me yesterday. He says, we're running the same plays. He said, we're getting the same shots. The whistles just aren't coming.
Panthers now have their biggest lead of the first half. The Huskies have had several 4-point leads. Lockhart looking for all 3 and got him at the foul line. A terrific free throw shooter. He's now 14 out of 16 at the line, and the Pittsburgh Panthers have taken a 3-point lead. That's their biggest of the half. Back to Fitzgerald after this. The Panthers have scored the last 6 points here in the first half, and with just over 11.5 to play, they have their biggest lead, 3, thanks to Lockhart.
Yeah, Jared Lockhart, who made those 3 free throws in a row right there. Let's take a look at a little bit of play right here as he makes the move around to the outside and nails another 3. John, his scoring average is only 8 points a game, and he's already exceeding that.
He has 2 3-pointers so far, and he's made 3 free throws off a foul on a 3-point attempt. Goes for the steal. Elamine steps around Taylor and is fouled. On his way to the basket, Kelly Taylor reached around. The foul, though, goes on Stephen Flores.
Watch Taylor right here. He seemed to have to come out and guard Elamine. He was trying to help down on the inside, and then when they kicked the ball back out, he had to come out and pick up Elamine. And of course, what happens is, as he's coming out, Elamine's going to the basket, and Taylor reached up and fouled him.
I think there's a little bit of confusion as to who the foul was called on. John Cowell signaled number 42, but he wasn't on the court. So let's give it to 22, Kelly Taylor, and not Stephen Flores, who's not made an appearance so far. 3-point lead for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Moore with it on the perimeter to Hamilton. You see Holmes jumping out on him.
Pitt in his own now, out of that out-of-bounds play. It looks like a 1-3-1 matchup.
Here's Moore. He's got a 3 going and good. So Moore with his second 3-pointer. He's got 8, and we're back to that 18-18 ball game. A 1-point lead now for Pittsburgh.
A little more pressure now on Lockhart.
That was a 2-pointer, not a 3-pointer. Therefore, it's a 1-point ball game. Hawkins being pushed out by Suleiman Wan to the perimeter. The junior college transfer, Jeremy Holmes, as Taylor drives and uses the glass beautifully. Kelly Taylor's got 5.
Great shot, and he made a tough one, too.
Here comes Hamilton. Feeds more. Spots for 3. Rims out. But the push-off is going to go against Suleiman Wan inside, I believe, and it'll be Pittsburgh Panther basketball.
Wan very aggressive on the inside there. I talked about Connecticut being able to use a revolving door in centers. He's one of them. Jim Calhoun can use a lot of guys in that post position.
Well, they also have Antrick Kleber, the 6'10", senior from Silver Spring. So they have 3 big guys that can rotate inside, and he just throws Taylor out of the way.
Taylor was more than glad to slide across that floor, take the foul, and Pitt gets the ball back.
Here's Greer with penetration off the glass and good. Second field goal for Greer. Pittsburgh Panthers have their biggest lead of the half, up by 5. We are midway through.
Pitt staying in that zone defense. They're going to stay with that 1-3-1. They've gotten a couple of turnovers from it.
Elamine skips it to Hamilton. Steps around the 3. Waits, bends short. Rebound by Vonteego Cummings. He had Taylor sprinting ahead on the breakout, but decided not to go to him. Keeps his dribble. Oh, nice. Beautiful move. Nice. Penetration blocked by Voskuhl.
John, there were 2 things that happened right there. Did you see Voskuhl step out and force Cummings out a couple of steps before he made the move to the basket? Then once he made the move, he caught up with him and blocked the shot.
It was a terrific defensive play because it looked like he had the lane.
See him make a move right there, and I forced him out. Now when Cummings comes in, he comes after him.
So Holmes gets the Pittsburgh basket, and the Panthers now all of a sudden have opened up a 7-point lead. They've got them on their feet in Fitzgerald.
Everybody's got white shirts on here. It seems it looks like that.
Hamilton for 3 from deep in the corner. It's too strong. Tipped up by Elamine, and it almost went in. The rebound to Hawkins. A 12-2 Pittsburgh run. Hawkins now kicks it back outside to Jeremy Holmes out of Neosho Junior College, which is in Kansas. They find Cummings underneath the basket, and Voskuhl blocks him again. More running. Elamine.
Nice pass. Another one.
And then a foul underneath.
Well, John, I like to see that interior passing like that. That's a sign of a good basketball team. Always looking for the open guy. If there's somebody more open than you are, then get the ball. Look at Voskuhl come back down here on the inside and block another one. That's 2 blocks in a row on 2 consecutive possessions for Pitt. Now here's the transition game. Pass to the side to Hamilton. He looks inside. The pass across the lane and the foul. Excellent ball movement.
Second foul on Greer. 8.5 to play. 24-17 Pittsburgh. Vonteego Cummings is 0 for 5. He and the other Pittsburgh guards have struggled with their shot. Voskuhl turns, finds Elamine, who's been very quiet offensively.
Taylor's done a nice job on him since he's come off the bench.
Quick pass inside, forcing it up on the side. Too strong, rebounded by Greer.
Well, Connecticut can net by 1 now. They can't even get close.
Well, they made 5 of their first 6. Now Holmes goes inside against Voskuhl. The fadeaway jumper is good. Second basket for Isaac Hawkins. He just went over the 7-footer to score and open up a 9-point lead.
Voskuhl did everything he could possibly do. He bodied him up, forced him away, and still he was able to get that one up and down. Look at these Pitt fans.
They are jumping up and down right now with 8:04 to go. A 9-point lead.
Pitt's going to stay in that zone defense. 1-3-1.
The 2 teams returned their entire starting lineup from last year. Good drive by Saunders. Nice dish that time by Voskuhl.
A little give and go. Tough to do that against the zone defense, but they were able to accomplish it. Nice pass by Voskuhl.
(26-19). Here comes Taylor. Montego Cummings. Back to Holmes. He draws the crowd, so they go underneath to Cosby. Shot clock at 7.
Well, look at Bosco close.
Way out. Yeah, he did close him down. Taylor's long 3 short. And over the backboard, out of bounds. 7:09 to play in the first half. We've got a timeout in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Panthers doing the job outside and inside right now. And they have opened up the lead. We'll be back. You're watching Big East basketball. Only 2 baskets in the last 5 minutes for Connecticut. Remember, Larry, you mentioned they had really cooled off. They started 5 for 6, but 3 for 10 since. And Hawkins doing all he can against Voskuhl, who did everything he could as well.
Look at Voskuhl. He actually was just moving with him as he faded away. Hawkins made an unbelievably tough shot against the extended hand there. Isaac Hawkins, look at those double-double. Only Big East player right now who's averaging a double-double in points and rebounds.
Both teams shooting just about 50% at this point in the ballgame with 7 minutes remaining first half. The Panthers have opened up a 9-point lead at one stretch, now up by 7.
John, I think part of the success that Pitt's having right now is his zone defense. It really has, I think it's really made it difficult for Connecticut to get any easy shots underneath. Look at Voskuhl with that move.
But he missed, and Saunders has the follow. Second field goal for Edmund Saunders off the bench. It cuts it back to a 5-point lead. Early on, it was the Huskies who had a 4-point lead a couple of different times, but with about 6.5 remaining. It is Pittsburgh on top right now by 5. Hawkins way out, goes inside, and coming over to knock it out of bounds was Saunders. Some out-of-town scores. Villanova leading West Virginia 32-24 in the first half. Let's show you what else is coming up in conference play as St. John's will go against Virginia. That one will start at 3 o'clock. UMass and Boston College at 7:30. And Seton Hall and Syracuse. Number 12 Orange trying to rebound against Seton Hall.
Disappointing loss, I know, in Morgantown for Jim Boeheim on Wednesday.
Hawkins with a little bit of a drive, misses short. Lockhart touched it last. It'll be Husky basketball. So kind of quietly now, the Huskies beginning to creep back into this ballgame.
Well, this is a very good club. I mean, they're going to contain their composure right here. Ralph Willard's still trying to get his club up. He told me yesterday, he says, you know, we got to play with a lot of passion. He said, we've got to play with emotion. We're not as deep as Connecticut, and our guys are got to come out, perform hard every minute they're on the floor.
The last 4 points have been scored by Connecticut. Mooring's got a 3 on the way, too strong. Nice rebound inside by Holmes in a crowd. Looks to Cosby, great feed.
For Holmes, what a terrific play. Big strong rebound underneath and a pass almost from midcourt underneath the other end.
Hamilton for 3 from deep in the corner. He's got it. That's his first 3 of the afternoon. He has 5 points for the Huskies. They're back within 4.
Connecticut will not go away. I will tell you that. This is a tough, experienced club. One of the few teams I've seen this year, John, that does not have a freshman that they depend on.
Lockhart. Offensive foul called on Jarrett Lockhart. He used that front arm to try to open a way down the lane, and he's called for the foul.
Watch again, you'll see Holmes make this great pass. Jeremy Holmes, this is after he pulled down a strong rebound. Good lob right off of the glass and an easy one for Cosby.
The Huskies will bring it up. It's Ricky Moore. Inside the 5.5-minute mark. And let's see, it's taken us about 20 minutes to play the first 15 minutes, hasn't it? We have not stopped very much. Mooring with some penetration goes to Moore, who almost traveled. Freeman from the corner. He's got a 2 on the way and good.
You know, Hawkins was saying something to Cosby about getting into the corner to get over and stop him, and nobody was there, and Freeman took advantage of it.
28-27.
You got to communicate in the zone. When somebody's open in the corner like that, somebody's got to be there to challenge.
It was a 3-pointer that he took from the side, not a 2. Lockhart to Holmes. Over the back, Freeman will pick up the foul. That's his first. And it's only the 4th team foul. The Pittsburgh Panthers have committed 5, so foul's really not a factor here in the closing minutes of the first half.
Well, it'll affect Pitt more than it will Connecticut because they can go to that bench. They can play 10 guys and not really get hurt. Ralph Willard, particularly his front court, gets really damaged when they have to go down to their next guy.
Montego Cummings yet to score. Holmes thought about a long 3, changed his mind. Gets it back to Cummings.
Would you have thought with a little over 4 minutes to play that Elamine and Cummings had not scored at this point?
Hard to believe, isn't it? Here comes Vontigo. In the lane, short with his jumper. Cosby had it. Hawkins comes away with it, so the Panthers get a fresh clock. Well, good left-hand move, but a strong rebound by Saunders underneath for the Huskies. Here's Hamilton spotting for three, and he buries that one.
Well, Rip Hamilton's got a great shot, John. I mean, you and I have watched him play for all these years. You ever seen a guy, I mean, the last couple of years in the Big East that can shoot it as well as he can?
And shoot quickly like he did then without even putting the ball on the court.
Very quick release.
They have wiped out that 9-point lead. Good save by Holmes. Lockhart comes back with a runner that rattles but won't go. And there's Saunders again for the rebound. Looks to Hamilton. Now Saunders with a quick dish to Freeman. He lost it. Holmes had it. He lost it. Hamilton for three. Hits the deck, and a foul is called on Holmes, I believe.
I tell you, Ricky Moore's got this club charged up right now. He reached over, helped Hamilton up, said, come on, let's start playing. He went around to everybody else and gave him a little slap. You like to see that, particularly from your seniors.
It will put Hamilton at the line for three shots. Hamilton shooting over 40% from the field and from three-point territory coming into this ball game. Earlier it was Lockhart converting all three of his free throws when he had the opportunity, and you know that's kind of unusual. They usually don't make all three of them, do they?
No, you're right. Right now the guy that's led this club back to is Hamilton. Rip has been ripping him.
He is a Pennsylvania native, Coatesville, PA, and he has made 2 of 3. And he's in double figures now to lead his team with 10. Jarrett Lockhart has 11 for Pittsburgh, but he's been a little quiet of late.
I know that Jim Calhoun is very happy to see Rip Hamilton come back for this year. What an addition he is to this club, though. I mean, he just picks him up. He can do so many things. I mean, he can rebound, he plays good defense, and we know how he can score.
And he got the roll on number 3. 3 in a row from the line. Hamilton has 11 to match the total of Jarrett Lockhart of Pittsburgh. Right now it's a 4-point lead for the #1 team in the nation, UConn. In this ball game on a run right now, but not surprising because they have been the best in just about every category you can name in the Big East.
Not often you can find a club that will be the #1 offensive and #1 defensive team within a conference. Look at that scoring margin. 33 points per game. That actually is #1 in the nation.
But it's a 15-2 run right now for the Huskies after Pitt had been on a 10-2 run. So we've been kind of streaking at both ends from time to time, but the action has been nonstop. Neither team has slowed down so far.
Connecticut stays in that man-to-man. They have really forced Pitt out of way on that offensive end.
And they've done that the entire game. And we remind you that our game today from Pittsburgh is produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television. We thank you for joining us. I'm John Sanders along with Larry Conley. Well, it's good to be back with you again.
John. It was a lot of fun.
Steal by Hamilton. He's got Elamine out ahead. Moore trails. Hamilton feeds it to Moore. Gives it back to Hamilton off the glass. Short. Rebound Hawkins. Here comes Greer to the baseline.
Nice move.
And lays it in.
Boy, he went right by Voskuhl. Like it was nailed to the floor. Here we go.
Moore answers at the other end. On the fly, it's Ricky Moore with 9 points.
Remember that conversation I had earlier about Ralph Bullard trying to stop the transition game of Connecticut? He didn't on that one. Boy, Moore flew at the basket.
Moore and Cummings. How many times have they been matched up over the years, huh?
Well, they played 8 times in high school, and this is the 3rd time that they played each other in college. I got to believe these two guys have probably played more against each other in their careers than any 2 players in high school and college.
That's the matchup. Almost coming up with a steal, and they do. Hamilton to Elamine. He pulls up. Too strong. Rebound comes to Vontigo Cummings. They've got numbers at this end. Lockhart spots for 3 and drills it. He buried that baby. 14 for Lockhart, his 3rd three-pointer of the half.
Well, I'll tell you, if the other league was playing right now, you would see it would have been beyond that line.
Well beyond that line. He shot from just about your vantage point here on the court.
I felt the breeze.
That's right. Moore able to keep his dribble. Willard did not like the no call, and underneath I think we've got Voskuhl called for 3 seconds. How many times do you see that? Not very often,
You know,
right?
John, I've seen it more this year than I've seen it in the last couple of years. Yeah, guys are starting to get those centers, making them move out of there.
Each team has 4 threes. The three-point shooting has been outstanding both ways.
Well, they're blistering the nets, aren't they?
A terrific basketball game going from Fitzgerald Fieldhouse in Pittsburgh. Hawkins comes out, spins it home, and the Panthers are back on top.
Boy, was that pretty. He caught the ball, got his feet set, turned, looked at the basket, and launched a beautiful high-arching shot.
1 point lead for Pittsburgh. We're winding down to the final minute, and they are screaming in Fitzgerald Fieldhouse this afternoon.
John, it's been a game of spurts. Each club has had a run.
Right now, it's Pittsburgh on a 7-2 run after a 15-2 sprint by the Huskies. Here comes Hamilton, gives it up to Voskuhl, stripped inside, and a foul called. That'll be the second on Lockhart.
A little look at Lockhart right here as he makes the move down inside, trying to defend. You see Voskuhl trying to go in. He almost took his arm off from the elbow down.
Now watch this beautiful set play for Hawkins.
That's a great screen. Voskuhl's trying to get there, but he got himself set so well. He squared up, looked at the basket, and released. Very nice. And the point to the guy who made the pass. I like that.
Voskuhl has been terrific at the line coming into the game, 12 of 15, so he's now 12 of 16. He'll get the second of 2, and the Huskies now in the bonus because Pitt has committed 7 fouls here in the first half. Voskuhl has 5, and we're tied at 35. It's been a great game so far.
Terrific.
Third time we've been deadlocked. Cummings has not scored. Neither has Khalid El-Amin. Amazing.
Taylor trying to shake El-Amin right now.
He does for a three-pointer. A little bit short. Nice rebound by Lockhart. He forces it back up and in. Somehow he got it to go. 16 for Lockhart. El-Amin misses a 3. Vonteego Cummings has it. Pittsburgh leads the final 20 seconds. Shot clock is off. Lockhart for 3. Good.
Ralph Willard was standing up and saying, take one. Just one shot at the end of the half, and Lockhart stuck it again.
He has 19 first half points. Pittsburgh leads by 5.
Do you believe that shot, John?
Unbelievable.
I mean, 10 seconds to go, and Ralph Willard was screaming because you couldn't hear him above the rest of this crowd.
A tremendous performance by Lockhart. First, the rebound off the miss by Taylor. Look at that.
What? Look at this move. Now, he's falling away here, trying to get it up and off the glass. He is successful, but that's nothing. Nothing compared to that next one. Cummings with a length of the court pass.
Look where he's standing.
He just launches. He says, I feel it.
I've seen him do that before. I tell you, he is amazing when he gets hot. And right now, the Panthers are just feeding off his hot hand.
Look at that. 19 points already in the first half.
Lockhart has matched his season high in the first half alone. His career high is 25. El-Amin with a good move. At the foul line, comes up short. Tipped up, Greer has the rebound. And that'll do it. The Pittsburgh Panthers have the #1 team in the nation down by 5 at halftime. We are getting ready for intermission here at Fitzgerald. And when we come back, we'll check out this week's edition of the Big East Wire. But it's been a well-played, surprising first half. Pittsburgh 40, UConn 35. Stay with us. Back in a minute. Along with Larry Conley, I'm John Sanders. Let's jump right to some of those highlights. Midway through, we had a 15-2 run by UConn as they built a 4-point lead. And fueling the way, of course, was that transition game of theirs.
Yeah, it's important for Connecticut to get up and down the floor. And the guy that really leads them in that area is Hamilton. Now watch him push the ball up on the other end. He had a big 11 points in that first half, and here's 3 of them right there on an excellent shot from beyond the 3-point stripe. But the story in the first half really was Lockhart. Jared Lockhart right here. Watch this play. These are the 2 plays right before the end of the half. Right here with Hamilton right in his face, backs him off, and he falling away is able to get it off of the glass. But that one is not as big as the one coming up. Jared Lockhart did not miss a 3-point field goal attempt in the first half. This one was with 10 seconds to go in the half with Ralph Willard saying, hold the ball. Lockhart says, no thanks, I'm going to let it go.
Pittsburgh has the lead. We've got 20 minutes more coming up from Fitzgerald Fieldhouse in Pittsburgh. Stay with us. Big East Conference basketball will continue from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. After this word, it's the very well played and outstanding first half, especially from three-point range.
Look at that. 4 of 9 for Connecticut, 5 of 9 for Pitt. And of course, I talked about Lockhart. He is 4 for 4. Rip Hamilton with 11 points in the first half. Lockhart with 19 big ones. He only averages 8 points a game. This guy was terrific.
And he has matched his season high with another 20 minutes to go. Can he keep the hot hand? Can the Panthers follow suit when they lead at halftime and win their 8th? Last time they played a #1 team was January of 1996. They lost in overtime to UMass. First shot of the second half, a miss. Voskuhl tries to track it down and does. Here's Elamine, skips it on the wing to Hamilton. That one kicks high off the glass, and Hawkins has the rebound for Pittsburgh. So a couple of quick misses by the Huskies.
And open looks. No challenge defensively.
Montego hanging, shooting, tip in. Cosby no good. Rebound tipped out of bounds. Touched last over the back by Jake Voskuhl.
John, that cannot be a good thing for Jim Calhoun's club to start off the way they have. A couple of missed easy shots down underneath, and then on the defensive end, allowing Pitt to get on the inside and get a couple of offensive rebounds, although they did not score.
Juan quickly checking in for Voskuhl. By the way, that game against UMass that went to overtime, the Minutemen won, but interestingly enough, in that game, Cummings and Taylor did not play, and the Panthers still took them to overtime. Here's Lockhart.
Connecticut opens up man-to-man the second half.
Cosby.
Juan doing a nice job extending out there on Cosby.
These guys have played against each other so much. Moore and Montego Cummings, they're probably really good friends. Greer keeps it alive after the miss. Fights his way inside. Count the basket.
What a terrific play. After he got the rebound, he knew he was going to be challenged defensively when he took it to the hole. What happens? He pulls the ball back, draws the foul, and still makes the basket. Lockhart with his first miss from beyond the three-point stripe today. Look at this. Greer gets it, puts it on the floor, pulls it back, draws the foul, and still gets the hoop.
Well, one thing about Ricardo Greer, he always looks to go to the basket when he gets the ball.
But, John, you know, you got to have a couple of guys on the club that do that. I mean, some guys got to be a little selfish. You got to be able to want to go score.
First miss at the line by Pittsburgh. The ball touched last by UConn. And the Panthers, as Freeman could not hang on, will keep it. Pittsburgh leading by 7. They had a 9-point lead at one stage of the first half when they went up 27-16. Out to Cummings. They get the fresh 35, and we have played just over a minute this second half.
Got to watch that 5-second call.
Finally gets the foul call.
It's like a hand check
on Khalid Elamine. Elamine took only 4 shots in the first half, missed all of those.
You know, Elamine is 203 pounds, is so strong. His upper body strength is incredible. Look at the right arm. See right there? A push off. And it was a good call.
Hawkins draws the double team and the turnover. Out of bounds. No, it's going to be a foul. Trying to get the basketball back was Hawkins, and he will pick up the foul call.
You know, Ricky Moore was on his way. He was streaking to the other end, and Hawkins just reached out and grabbed him right in front of us here. I made that call before the ref did.
And you were right. You were right on it.
Pitt's going to play that zone again. Had some success with it in the first half. Looks like more of a 2-3 now.
Stolen away by Lockhart. He's got Cummings in front, leads him up, in. First basket of the afternoon for Montego Cummings.
Good hustle that time by Pittsburgh to get back. Hamilton wanted to put one up, but they got back down inside. Lockhart was right there.
The Panthers have all 4 points scored in the second half. Saunders goes underneath to Hamilton, throw it away. Pittsburgh basketball, 18-11 to play. The Panthers are up by 9.
Really an unforced error right here as Lockhart just steps into the passing lane. Hamilton was going to try to move to the corner. Lockhart drops it outside to Cummings. An easy layup right there. Ricky Moore with the turnover for Connecticut.
44-35. Montego Cummings just got his first field goal of the afternoon. 22 minutes into the ballgame.
Let's see if Connecticut's defense can start to pull them back right now. Down by 9. Their defense has always been the one thing they've relied on to put them back in a game.
Panthers now work the clock a bit. Shot clock winds down to 10, and it's deflected. Hawkins inside to Attila Cosby. Hawkins from just inside the arc buries that one.
Pretty tough for Voskuhl to get out there and guard him 15 feet from the basket.
It's a timeout. Wipe out the action underneath the basket. It is a full timeout called by Jim Calhoun, and the Huskies, the #1 team in the country, is down by 11 on the road in Big East play here in Pittsburgh. Because the Pittsburgh Panthers have all 6 points scored in the second half and have their biggest lead of the afternoon, up by 11. Amazing, Larry.
Yeah, John, I was talking while we were away about all the runs that have been going on right now. Pittsburgh on one right now, combining the first half and the second half, 16-1. It's an outstanding run. Connecticut put one together almost like that in the first half.
And Pittsburgh still shooting 50% for the game. Remember the graphic we showed you right at the top when they were shooting 50% in starting this season, 6-0. Saunders cannot hang on. Another turnover for the Huskies, and Pittsburgh will have it.
You know, John, Pitt's gone almost exclusively, except for the first 4 minutes of this game, with a zone defense, and it has really bothered Connecticut. I mean, they shot the ball well in the first half, and the turnovers have not been bad, but it really has forced them out away, and they're not getting those good, easy shots underneath.
And this is the first time a Pittsburgh team has started a season 6-0 since 87-88, and that was the to-be champion team from Pittsburgh, headed by Charles Smith and Jerome Lane.
Boy, was that a good club.
Turnaround, Cummings, too strong, an air ball. Cosby gets it back and scores.
Well, that's the way it's gone today. Voskuhl down underneath, battling Saunders. They're battling each other, and the ball comes off of both of them to Pitt.
Elamine quiets the run with a three-pointer. That's his first field goal of the game. He had been 0 for 5 prior to making that three that cuts it back to a 10-point difference. Hawkins on the perimeter to Greer, working on Hamilton. Against Voskuhl, no place to go, thrown away. Moore with the interception. Elamine with Hamilton and Saunders with him, backs away. Now in the lane, lays it home. He's starting to heat it up a bit.
Terrific play. Could have given it up underneath, but it had an easy one from about 6 feet out. Elamine now with back-to-back baskets.
Five-second count. You've got to either stop that dribble and pick it up or get your head and shoulders around the man and make a move.
Well, right now they're doing exactly what I thought they would do. Their defense is really triggering their offense. Watch Elamine with a nice move right here. He gets around down inside and got an easy right in front of the basket shot there and puts one home, and now Connecticut coming back down 8.
Cummings was going for the steal that time, could not reach it. So Ricky Moore for the Huskies. Hamilton's three, good. Hamilton has 14 points. That is his third three-pointer, and the Huskies all of a sudden are back in it. A 13-point lead is dwindled to 5.
You don't become the #1 team in the country playing passively.
Defender fell down, and Greer simply steps back and nails the jumper. The blocking foul on Greer.
John, the rule in that situation is you've got to allow the player catching the ball room to come down. And in the official's opinion right there, there was no room for him to come down. Now watch Greer right here. You'll see him move into defensive position, but does the guy have time, room to come down? He doesn't have room. You've got to give him a chance to catch the ball and come down. That's why the blocking foul was called against Greer. And
Greer, the first player on either team in foul trouble, Larry. He's got 3. Hamilton for 3, off the mark. Taylor comes out of there with it. It's a 2-on-3, now a 3-on-3. Cummings will put up for a 3. Too strong. Hawkins against Voskuhl. Loses out of bounds. And it's Pittsburgh basketball. The officials had to confer, and Voskuhl does not get the call to go his way. 50-43, 5 minutes into the second half.
It wasn't that he wasn't lobbying hard, though.
That's true. He wanted the call.
This is the slowest action we've had. We've had at least 6 seconds now with Cummings holding the ball.
And receiving no pressure, so therefore no count.
Little two-man basketball. He and Hawkins.
Now Moore steps it up a bit defensively against Montego Cummings. The shot clock inside 10. Here comes Montego down the lane. Hanging, shooting, no good. Voskuhl has the rebound. Knocked away by Greer. And Greer might have picked up his 4th foul. Ricardo Greer scrambling for the loose basketball, stripped it away from Bosco, but picked up the foul.
Yeah, Bosco got the rebound down on the inside. You know, anytime a guy that big and that strong like Bosco has a hold of it, and you've got 3 fouls as Greer had, you got to stay away from him. Let him have the ball, go to the other end because you want to play. He reached in and got him across the arm. That's the reason Bosco lost the ball.
So Greer will go to the bench for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Cosby returns. Taylor is in the lineup along with Lockhart and Cummings, working basically a 3-guard offense. Although what you'll find is Monteagle roaming the court side to side, baseline to baseline. Elamine against Taylor off the Hamilton screen. Floater is partially blocked. Freeman has it underneath and scores.
Good hustle by Freeman underneath. He saw the defense coming, got in there, got the air ball from Elamine and had an easy one. And Connecticut battling back now.
Just his second field goal of the day. Here comes Taylor skipping down the lane, misses with the left hand. Voskuhl clears it ahead to Elamine. Around Monteagle Cummings, and Cummings reached around and knocked it out of bounds.
I think he got an awful lot of Elamine's elbow, too.
That's what Elamine thought. I guarantee you that. A 10-2 run now. Another one of the Larry Conley runs that we've had in this ball game, huh?
It's been incredible. I mean, they've been big runs.
Hamilton gets penetration, misses the shot, but will go to the line.
You know, once in a while you get 6, 7, 8-point runs, but I mean, these guys are double-figure runs. These are 12, 13, 14-point runs.
Well, it's a 10-2 run. They had a 15-2 run in the first half. The Panthers, scorching in the second half, went on a 16-1 run, carrying back to the end of the first half. But the Huskies trying to battle back now, a chance to cut the lead to 3. Hamilton had a 3-point free throw opportunity converted in the first half. Misses the first of 2. So he is 3 for 4 at the line for Coach Jim Calhoun, whose Huskies are 7-0. Of course, they not only expect you to win every game, Larry, they want you to win by at least 20 or 25 points. You know what I'm saying? And
Hamilton misses his second one. He's going to commit the foul, reaching over.
Hamilton will pick up his second foul. 13:47 to play. It's the 3rd team foul on the Huskies. The Panthers have committed 4.
Not often you see Rip Hamilton miss 2 free throws in a row. He came into the game shooting 76%, but that was the second miss, and committing the foul, reaching over, a little foul of frustration.
Cummings now working against Mooring, who's checked into the lineup. Cummings gets to the baseline, but has to reverse. Still keeps his dribble.
Nice job by Mooring right there to shut him off.
5-point lead. Pittsburgh has it, and the Panthers have the basketball. It's been a great game. Lockhart yet to score in the second half. Shot clock at 8. Cummings spins, takes it all the way in, and misses the shot. Voskuhl the rebound. You will not see him miss a point-blank lay-in very often. Elamine at the foul line. Good.
Can't run off and leave that guy.
7 points for Elamine in the second half, and it's going to be a 22nd timeout taken by the Panthers. Their 13-point lead has dwindled to 3, 7 minutes into the second half.
You know, John, in talking about stopping the Connecticut transition game, as Ralph Willard did, he said, we've got to stop them. How do we do that? The guy they got to stop is Elamine, because he's the guy that really makes them in transition. When he's got the ball, you've got to force him to give it up, because if he doesn't give it up, he's going to make an easy one. You see Cummings with a miss right here. Voskuhl gets it out. Look at this good outlet right here. Elamine with the ball. Make him give the ball up right here. They don't. What's he do? He drains one.
Well, he has all 7 of his points here in the second half. A 3 and a couple of jumpers. Just spots up at the foul line. There's nobody around him, and he buries it.
But what a great-looking player he is. Committed to Minnesota, coming out of high school, and changed his mind, decided to come to Connecticut.
And there's some pressure now from the Huskies. Roshamel Jones, the fans wanted the foul call. They don't get it. It's a 3-point game. Monteagle taking a little more time, bringing the ball up court. You can see the clock running. We're inside the 13-minute mark. Here's Hawkins. Long-range jumper. Good. Boy, he's got a good touch going today. He's in double figures with 10.
He's looked very good from about 15 feet out today. Really shooting the ball well. Squaring up, feet underneath of him, and good follow-through.
And not afraid to take that shot. Ricky Moore with it. In with Saunders, Freeman, Mooring, and Jones right now. Only one starter in the lineup for the Huskies. That shows you their depth. You got 10 guys averaging 9 minutes or more a game of playing time.
That's a very small lineup right there for Connecticut.
Shot clock inside 10. Baseline pull-up jumper is short, tipped up and kept alive by Freeman. Falling out of bounds, he turns it back to the Pittsburgh Panthers. To get inside the huddle of your favorite Big East team, you can go online at www.bigeast.org for all of the basketball and conference news from around the Big East.
Are you computer literate?
I don't know. Literate might be too strong a word for what I do with computers. 12 minutes to go in this game.
I figured out how to turn mine on last week.
Well, that's a start. Saunders using the body to push off. Will pick up with a foul. That is his first. It will be the 15th foul against the Huskies of Jim Calhoun. They trail by 5 with 11:49 remaining. Can the Panthers pull off the shocker against number 1? We'll be back after this. By 5 at halftime, still leading by 5. Villanova up by 2 over the Mountaineers. Game being played at Villanova. Lockhart, who had the 19-point first half, has not scored here in the second half. Holmes is back in there to key the offense and just does get it in to Attila Cosby against Saunders. Now they find Taylor.
Pitt the last couple of possessions has been very, very patient with the basketball, almost utilizing the entire 35 seconds on that shot clock.
Here comes Lockhart against Moore, down the lane off the glass and good. 21 points for Jared Lockhart.
First basket for him in the second half.
And right now this Pittsburgh team playing with Vonteego Cummings, who's 1 for 12 this afternoon on the bench. And this zone defense that they've shown most of the game has been very effective.
Looks like they've gone to a man-to-man now. They switched coming out of that commercial break.
Moore against Lockhart. Hamilton quickly for a 3. A little short. The follow won't go. Tipped up again. Finally Saunders bending off. Tipped up Bosco. Saunders this time got it to go.
Terrific offensive board work that time by Connecticut. Saunders and Bosco playing volleyball.
Taylor for 3. Good. Kelly Taylor's second 3 of the afternoon. He has 8, and the Pitt Panthers open it up again by 8.
Connecticut works for 3 minutes to get a basket. He lets one go in about 8 seconds.
Moore thought about 3. Mooring will shoot a 3. Good. Mooring has been instant offense off the bench. His second three-pointer, 7 on the afternoon.
Good answer by Mooring.
10.5 minutes to play.
Oh, nice job there. Good. Saunders doing a good job out there keeping Taylor away from driving to that basket.
Here is Taylor against Hamilton right now.
They're doing a nice job screening, and Connecticut's handling it.
Cosby from the side hits the net. 6 points for Attila Cosby, the sophomore out of Washington, D.C. and Oak Hill Academy.
John, they look like they've got that stroke back that they had in the first 6 games of this season.
Back up by 7. They have led by as many as 13 here in the second half. Hamilton around Cosby into the lane, up and hanging, shooting, missing, no good, tipped up and in.
Bosco again on that offensive glass.
Jake Bosco has 7 points. The Panthers have the ball and a 5-point lead.
Jim Calhoun telling his guards he wants them to start picking up full court.
Holmes running this offense right now with Vonteego Cummings on the bench. Deflected out of bounds. The Panthers will have it as Elamine returns. And Ricky Moore will get a rest. Well, I'll tell you what, the Huskies staying in this because they're banging those boards.
Yeah, they really are. End. Particularly Jake Bosco. He has really come to war underneath.
Live action now. Holmes picked up by Khalid Elamine. Here's Hawkins. Top of the circle, bending off. No good. Rebound stolen momentarily from behind, and then off the backside of Elamine. The Panthers keep it and get a new 35.
How about the hustle by Kelly Taylor on the baseline that time? The ball comes down on the miss by Hawkins. Watch on the right side of your screen, down underneath. Bosco's got it. He slaps it away. Goes right off of the hands of Elamine.
The Pitt Panthers overall, though, are winning the battle on the boards, even though the Huskies have done a good job in the last couple of minutes at the offensive end.
Nice cut.
Lockhart rejected by Bosco. Here is Khalid Elamine. Too strong by Moore. Ripped out of there by Taylor. I told you Taylor averages 4 rebounds a game. He's not afraid to go up and get them. Cosby. Turn around against Saunders off the glass and good. 8 points for Attila Cosby, and the Panthers getting they're scoring from a lot of different sources right now.
Pitt's getting it everywhere, John. You're reading my mind. That's exactly what I was thinking. Boy, they're getting shots underneath, outside, perimeter, in the lane, everywhere.
Elamine against Taylor. Hamilton to the baseline, backs away. Now forces it up. It's short. Brought down by Attila Cosby. The Panthers have the ball. Inside 9 minutes. Taylor for three. Air ball. Elamine looks long to Hamilton. Taylor is there. Strips it away out of bounds and fouls Richard Hamilton.
Look at Kelly Taylor pointing to himself. He's pointing to his brain saying, Coach, I know I made a mistake down there. It was really interesting. When Taylor made the foul down there, which obviously is going to send Hamilton to the line, he said, look, it was my fault. Shouldn't have put it up. You see Hamilton making the move right there. Watch Taylor commit the foul. Hamilton will go to the line. Taylor's got the ball, and he looks right up at Ralph Willard and said, Coach, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have shot that ball.
But I tell you what, remember Ralph wanting them to play for one right at the end of the first half, and it was a bomb from Lockhart from about 2 feet away from where you're sitting. 3 straight misses at the line by Hamilton. Uncharacteristic. He is now 3 for 6 at the free throw line. And Vonteego Cummings comes back on along with Greer. Remember, Greer playing with 4 fouls. And Vonteego, one of the things we talked about a little bit at halftime is the fact that it hasn't slowed his play from a point guard standpoint. He now has 9 assists. Hamilton gets 1 of the 2, has 15 points.
That's a sign of a good player, John. Anytime a guy continues to play the game and deliver the ball like Cummings does as the point guard, really helps your team, even though you're not scoring.
Greer playing with 4 fouls right now. Cummings backs away but keeps his dribble. Now goes inside. Hawkins looks to Holmes and threw it away. Was it deflected? No, it was not. 7:54 remaining in this basketball game. Ralph Willard and the Panthers looking to go to 8-3 and knock off the #1 team in the country. We'll be back. Fieldhouse in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, along with Larry Conley. I'm John Sanders, and Larry, this has been one terrific basketball game.
Yeah, it has, and it's really borne out by the fact that both of these teams have shot the ball so well today. Connecticut right now down by 6. They're not that far out of it. With the way the runs have gone today, you can almost expect one of these clubs to jump up here and throw another one up. Elamine running the club. Let's see if Connecticut can come back. Pitt goes back to the zone.
And Elamine has scored all 7 of his points here in the second half. This is Freeman. Here's Bosco. Takes it right down the lane and draws the foul.
John, no help that time against Jake Bosco. Pitt's going to allow the ball to come into that lane area. Jake Bosco will make a living there. There's nobody around him when the pass is made. Look at this. Good double team on the wing, but he's got it 1 step away from the basket. He takes it strong up there, and 2 guys fouling.
Bosco 1 out of 2 in the first half. And decides instead of going right up with his shot to take it to the basket and draws the foul. And the first one is no good.
Connecticut really struggling from the free throw line today.
And they have only made 1 in the second half. And this is their 6th attempt in the second half. And he cans that one. So Bosco with 8 points for the junior from Katy, Texas. 5-point difference, same as we had at halftime. Holmes racing all the way back, has it partially blocked, tipped up and reeled in by Jake Bosco.
Jake's a whirling dervish under there. He gets that ball, nobody's going to get it away from him. There he is in the middle again.
Tipped out of bounds. It remains Husky basketball with 22 on the shot clock and 7:17 to play.
John, it almost looks like as if Pitt is enticing them to throw the ball in the middle to Bosco because there's nobody in there around him. He's floating in that lane area, in that paint area.
Well, one thing about the Huskies, this is a veteran team, as you alluded to, that's not going to panic because they trail by 5.
Too good a club. Much too good a club.
Elamine to Mooring. Penetrates down the lane. Gives it up to Freeman, who jams it home.
Pretty play. Mooring with a nice drive right down the middle of that lane. The Pittsburgh zone defense is a little porous in the middle.
And this is the closest the Huskies have been since the closing seconds of the first half. It's a 3-point difference. So despite the 6-0 run to start for Pittsburgh, it is UConn outscoring the Panthers in the second half. Long 3 by Cummings, no good. Bosco there for the rebound. Hamilton to tie. No good. Freeman kept it alive, battles his way back inside and scores. There's the blue-collar work of Kevin Freeman.
And Freeman again with that offensive rebound. Starting to see UConn starting to get on the glass on both ends right now. Pitt was dominating on both sides, and you see the Huskies up there pulling those rebounds down.
We've got a timeout with 6:17 to play. It had been a 13-point deficit for Jim Calhoun's club, but led by the strong play inside of Kevin Freeman, they've cut that lead to 1. Don't leave us. We've got 6:17 remaining. Today's Big East game has been brought to you by it. And the best part of this game may be still to come. Look at the shooting so far. Both teams doing very well from the field in the ball game this afternoon. Rebounding has evened out. Pitt had a big edge, but thanks to some strong work at the offensive end, the rebounds are even at 29 apiece.
And most of that by Jake Voskuhl inside. Good screen by
Montego Cummings got some room down the lane, draws the foul. Nothing Kevin Freeman could do. He had to go get him. Just the second foul on Freeman.
Watch this move right here. You'll see a screen up top right here by Hawkins. Now that frees him to get down inside. Watch him get around Voskuhl, coming strong to the basket, and there's Freeman committing the foul.
Oh, you talked about the fact that the Panthers did not get to the line very much in their last 2 games, only 8 times, and this is only their 5th free throw attempt this afternoon.
You see those assists already? Montego Cummings is right on the verge of having a double in assists. He's got 9.
I think as much as he touches the ball, he should get number 10, shouldn't he?
I would think so.
4 points is all he has offensively. It's the Panthers by 3. Elamine keeps his dribble, gets inside, forces it up. And Taylor took a whack in the eye, I think, after he snared that ball. That time, Elamine did not use as good a judgment.
John, there really was nowhere for him to go. I mean, he dribbled right into traffic. He had 2 guys bigger than him. He's close to the basket, and he has no one to pass to. So what happens? He ends up turning it over.
Hey, for a young man with back problems, Taylor's not afraid to stick his nose in there, is he?
Now, there's a bad decision right there. I mean, you got to give that ball up before you get yourself into that position.
Full court pressure now from the Huskies. We're inside the 6-minute mark, time remaining. Now, this is what the Panthers worked on a lot yesterday, handling this kind of pressure. And Taylor does to Cummings. 20 on the shot clock, 5:40 on the game clock. Panthers have the ball and a 3-point lead.
Connecticut pushing Pitt's offense out away from the basket.
Shot clock winds to 5. Here comes Cosby. Keeps his dribble, backs away, puts up a shot, and it's too strong. Voskuhl got a piece of it. Greer got a piece of it, but it's a shot clock violation because it did not hit the iron.
Good trip that time for Connecticut on the defensive end. They really pushed Pitt out away from the basket and allowed them to get in a position to get any kind of shot. Chance now for Connecticut to tie if they can make a 3.
It is a 3-point ball game. Just over 5 minutes remaining at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. We're on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh.
Pitt's gone away from that zone defense they had success with. They're back in their man-to-man.
Freeman powers his way in, bending no good. Voskuhl kept it alive momentarily. Here comes Taylor for Pittsburgh. Leads to Greer. Greer to Attila Cosby. Back to Taylor. Now Montego wants that basketball.
And Pitt wants to be patient.
Ricardo Greer out there with 4 fouls. This is Attila Cosby, and now Montego Cummings, 10 on the shot clock. Long 3 by Cummings comes up short, but it's kept alive by Cosby, and a foul on Kevin Freeman.
John, it almost looks like Pitt's using Cosby and Hawkins exclusively as screeners. They're working the perimeter very, very hard. Obviously, Greer and Cummings and Taylor are trying to handle the ball, but anytime Hawkins and Cosby have got it, they're out there setting screens.
It's been pretty balanced for Pittsburgh, as we talked about.
There's Cosby setting the screen, trying to get Cummings free, and the foul was committed right after that.
Cummings powers his way in, got it right back in his hands, now keeps it alive to Greer. He'll put up a jumper. That one's off the front of the iron. Ripped out of there once again by Hawkins.
Big offensive rebound right there for Pitt.
63-60, 4 minutes to go. Panthers trying to knock off number 1.
Cummings wants to go inside.
Too many blue shirts there that time.
Well, Ricky Moore did a nice job defensively, trying to shut him down.
Cummings pulls up against Moore, rattles the three out. It's loose. Tracked down by Albert Mooring.
John Cummings is forcing it right now.
Cummings only 1 of 15, and yet his team is leading in the closing minutes.
If you had told me he'd be 1 for 15 right now, I'd say Pitt would be down 15.
Instead, they're up 3. Freeman, Bosco, off the glass and good.
Oh, what a great pass. Did you see that drop down pass? Freeman turned, looked over his shoulder. Jake Bosco with a nice cut to the basket.
It is a 1-point game with 3:15 remaining. Greer, the count is on. Finds Cosby in a crowd along the baseline.
We got a jump ball?
Yes, we do. The possession arrow will keep it at this end of the court, I believe.
Unless it's going to be the defensive. If the defense was in there holding the ball, let's see. Do they get a hold of it? They do. And the possession was actually in the hands of Pitt, so the ball will go back to Connecticut.
UConn will have the ball, trailing by 1 with 3 minutes to go.
Of course, that's that new rule this year. If you've got possession of the ball and the defense ties you up, it'll go the other way. Now, the arrow does not change.
Still favors Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
Elamine setting the offense. He's been part of this UConn comeback that's cut a 13-point lead to 1. Here is Freeman off the glass. No good. Followed by Saunders. No good. Here's Taylor. He's got Cummings trailing. Goes behind his back. Spins it up. No good. The follow. No good. Another tip try. No good. And it's stuck.
That results in a jump ball situation, which will give the ball back to Pitt.
That's called trying to power it back in the basket, isn't it?
So well, they were right there, weren't they?
Stuff it between the rim and the backboard.
Kelly Taylor made a tremendous move at the midcourt. Look at Cosby slapping it away. Watch this ball behind his back right here. Oh, what a great move. Good open court right there. Taylor couldn't finish. Look at the big guys battling. They get stuck right in the corner right there.
So it's Pittsburgh basketball, but the possession arrow will shift back to UConn with 2:30 to go. What a great game this has been on a Saturday afternoon in Pittsburgh. Glad you could join us. Don't leave us yet.
No.
Here's Montego spinning in the lane. Cosby from straight away. Too strong. Hawkins gets it back and scores. He'll go to the line. I'll tell you what, right now, the Panthers winning all of those loose balls.
You know, John, sometimes just being in the right place at the right time pays off. All the execution you want in the world, this one you can't draw up on a board. Watch right here as Hawkins gets himself in position for this rebound. Ball comes right across to the lane. He picks it up and draws the foul.
And actually, it was Lockhart who kept it alive on that other side, just tipped it right to him.
Saunders had a hold of the ball, and he couldn't control it, commits the foul, and Hawkins with a chance now to really get the Panthers up by 4.
The Huskies have gone almost 4 minutes without a basket. The three-point play completed. Isaac Hawkins has 13. Pittsburgh's lead is 4. Huskies have the ball. First Big East game for Connecticut. Hamilton for 3, partially blocked. Attila Cosby the rebound. He's triple teamed and steps away. And a foul is called. A timeout is called. (66-62) with exactly 2 minutes to go. There's plenty of white here. Will it be a Pittsburgh Panther whiteout? They've got 2 minutes to find out. Stay with us. Back after this.
2:20, you can see the foul situation. Both clubs will be in the bonus if they go to the line. Possession arrow favors UConn. Right now, Connecticut needs a basket.
Down by 4, so it's a 2-possession game as far as the Huskies are concerned. 2 minutes to play. Pittsburgh led 40-35 at halftime. So the scoring is slacked off a little bit both ways for Ralph Willard and Jim Calhoun in the second half.
Now with Pitt controlling the basketball, you know UConn's going to come out with this full court pressure. Let's see how Pitt handles it. Denying the pass, coming in.
They find Hawkins quickly to Greer. Now they've got a 2-on-1. Cummings down the lane. Got through Bosco. Count the basket, and he is fouled.
John, I watched them work on this yesterday. That out-of-bounds play with full court pressure, they worked it to perfection. You can't draw it up any better than what you just saw. Watch this. Ball to the middle. Cummings throws it in. Darts to the floor. They get it right back to him. He goes to the basket. Bosco with a foul. Cummings with the basket. That was gorgeous. Look at that move. Drew the foul, still got it off of the glass.
He's been very quiet offensively throughout this afternoon, but Montego Cummings now with 6 points. He is 2 for 2 at the line. Pitt is 5 out of 6, leading by 6. Less than 2 minutes to play. Misses. Hamilton has it. Cummings almost fouled it. Elamine now. Pressure from Taylor. And Taylor will pick up the foul. That's number 3 on Kelly Taylor. And I tell you, for a guy with a bad back, he has been terrific today.
Well, pretty tough to keep up with Elamine, but a good idea by him to really try to shut him down at the mid-court stripe. Put pressure on them, bringing the ball up.
Of course, the problem is you put him at the line now for a 1-and-1 in this situation, and they've got a chance to come back in this game with the clock stopped.
Exactly. Elamine, a very good free throw shooter, 76%, but Connecticut has struggled in this second half from the line.
Elamine is 19 of 25 at the free throw line. Big miss. Rebound Taylor. The Huskies have hurt themselves at the free throw line in the second half, and down by 6. Cummings. He's going to use the clock. That's the game clock. Shot clock at 20. Penetration. Montego blocked Bosco.
Great play by Bosco. That time he did not commit the foul. Cummings tried to go challenge him again.
But the Huskies have to hurry. Elamine in the corner. Moore has a slip out of his hands and go out of bounds. How often do you see that?
I mean, Ricky Moore was looking at the basket, getting ready to shoot, and he just dropped the ball out of bounds.
Pittsburgh basketball. He's going to launch a 3.
Look at this. He just dropped it.
Freeman has it blocked by Hawkins after he stole it to get it back. 1:10 to play. Calhoun wants a timeout. He's going to take a full timeout with 1:10 to play. Well, the Huskies on the inbounds play got the turnover, Larry. Then the rejection by Isaac Hawkins. So 68-62, 1:10 to go. Can the Huskies come up with some magic?
You know, I was watching Jim Calhoun with his bench over there. He backed off of his team and saying, I want to know what's going on with this club. He's asking right now, even about the play I think had happened right in front of his bench. Ricky Moore dropped the ball out of bounds. Right now, he needs baskets. And they need to get the ball in. Now, they've got 2:20s left. I think that's correct. They just used their last full timeout.
That's right. So they still have 2:20s. They can stop the clock a couple more times. 1 minute and 10 seconds of basketball remaining. It is Pittsburgh by 6. Well, both teams will be taking some time off for final exams. You look ahead to what's to come for right now. Number 1, they'll be home against Fairfield and then Villanova as they wind up December and look to Big East play in the month of January with another home game against Georgetown and a couple of road trips to BC and West Virginia. Pittsburgh has already played 10 games. This is their 11th game. They really got the spark they needed by those back-to-back big wins against Xavier and Kentucky in Puerto Rico before they dropped one to Maryland. So Ralph Willard's club playing well so far.
You know, Pitt got their shooting eye back today, too.
They sure did. Our game is produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television. We thank you for watching. Along with Larry Conley, I'm John Sanders. And these Pitt students on the far side of the court from us have been standing most of this game. Elamine looks to Hamilton. Greer quickly jumps out on him. Back to Elamine. Good perimeter defense by Pittsburgh. 1 minute to go. Elamine, Hamilton leans in, goes back to Elamine for a 3, and he got it.
Big. Oh, what a shot by the sophomore.
Elamine has 10, all in the second half, and he's brought his team back to within 3 now with 54 seconds to play.
You know, John,
that's the value of having those 20-second timeouts left.
Exactly. You can almost feel that they were going to go either to Elamine or to Hamilton for this. Look at Elamine circle. Hamilton trying to find him. Pitt knows Hamilton's going to take the shot, and when they converge on him, leaves Elamine wide open, and now they're only down 3.
And Kelly Taylor was ever so close to getting a piece of that basketball, but he just came up short as he tried for the block.
You knew Hamilton and Elamine were going to be looking for each other, and whoever was going to be open was going to launch the 3.
Since on that possession, they were basically the only 2 guys who touched the ball.
Exactly. And now they'll have to put up the defense. Elamine with a big basket right there.
Lockhart, Hawkins, Montego, Cummings, Taylor, and Greer, the 5 on the court right now for Pittsburgh against Freeman, Moore, Mooring, Elamine, and Hamilton, and the reach-around foul on Elamine.
You know, they were in trouble. Pitt was in trouble getting the ball in bounds, and with no timeouts left, Connecticut almost came up with a turnover, and Elamine reached out and grabbed just as they were about to lose the ball. Pitt, I'm talking about.
So Vosco comes back on for more, as Jim Calhoun will throw a little offense defense if he can and get Vosco back in there, who's been strong underneath the glass this afternoon. But it's Pittsburgh leading by 3, 53 seconds to go.
Well, if they're going to foul anybody, this is the guy they want to have at the line, at least Connecticut does. A 43% free throw shooter, Kelly Taylor.
That's only 6 of 14 at the free throw line. This is a 1-and-1, keep in mind. Not a 2-shot foul yet. 1 more from Connecticut. And Taylor misses the front end. Down by 3. 50 seconds to go. Elamine and the Huskies trying to scratch their way back against the Panthers. Vosco comes all the way out. Hawkins drops off. Elamine. Mooring. Hamilton. Elamine. Penetrates, shoots, bending off, no good. Tipped up, almost in. Still scrambling underneath, tipped up one more time. Finally kicked loose. Hamilton has it. 20 seconds to play. Traveling violation on Connecticut. Pitt will have it.
Well, what an effort it was underneath that basket by both clubs. Did you see all the hands flying up around that rim?
Pitt almost tipped it into the UConn basket at one point during that scramble.
Connecticut's got the foul right now. Ralph Willard has told his club they know they're going to foul you. Step to the line and make the free throws. Do they go after Taylor again? He's inbounding the ball.
Here's Greer. Freeman bumps him as he crosses half court. And Greer will pick up his 5th personal foul. So Ricardo gave it his best effort here this afternoon. He will leave the game. So it's Pittsburgh to shoot Greer at the line. Obviously the foul was on Freeman, who picked up his 4th personal foul. So he and Greer both with 4. One more and they will be gone. It's 68-65. Pittsburgh, and big free shots coming up for Greer, who missed his first chance today. Gets the roll.
That's the big one. That gets them up by 4. Now it has to be 2 possessions by UConn to get back ahead.
This is a Pittsburgh team that is specialized in the upsets, knocking off Xavier and Kentucky in back-to-back games in Puerto Rico, and closing in on a chance to do the same to #1 Connecticut. 1 of 2, still a 2-possession game, 15 seconds to play. Elamine will have to hurry. Off a Vosco screen. Long 3 is good. And timeout is called with 9 seconds to play. What a shot that was.
And their last 20 just went to Connecticut. No more timeouts and 3 seconds left. You know, the only strategy left for UConn now is simply to deny the pass coming in and foul the guy if it does come in.
Well, let's take a look now at our best play of the game, brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, where the best parts are our people. And he was quiet through much of the game, but then Montego Cummings, when he was needed, came to the rescue.
Great move right here. He took it right up against Vosco, ran the full court, drew the foul. He didn't do much offensively today except deliver the basketball and make one of the best plays of the day.
69-68.
Got a foul now.
They throw it away.
Nobody's going to touch it. They're going to leave.
Freeman should have let it go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's got to go up.
Elamine down the lane, spinning against Greer. The shot, good! Elamine scores with 2 seconds to play. Now the Panthers from half court.
What a win! What a win by Connecticut. Unbelievable comeback.
Khalid Elamine to the rescue for the Huskies. They win at 72-69, a heartbreaking loss for the Panthers.
And the thing about it, John, they got the ball back with plenty of time, and Elamine with presence of mind enough to get that shot up and down. What a great comeback by Jim Calhoun's club.
So the #1 Huskies are still undefeated, but they had to fight for their lives this afternoon in Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. Elamine did all of his scoring, 12 points in the second half, and he pulled his Huskies to another win. They are now 8-0 with a victory here in Pittsburgh on this Saturday afternoon. For Larry Conley, I'm John Sanders. Thanks for being with us. The final, once again, by a point. It's the Huskies 70, the Panthers 69. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you later.
Calhoun hoped his boys could escape another upset. Pitt off to a great start. Isaac Hawkins gets it down low. He knows what to do with it. Pitt up by 9 early. UConn would rally, though. Rip Hamilton for 3. 29-28 Huskies. Panthers used a nice run to end the half, capped by Jarrett Lockhart. He had 21. Pitt up by 5 at the half. They smelled an upset. And then the hunger persisted in the second. Attila Cosby's follow completes an 18-1 run, lead 13. UConn would not roll over, though. That's Kevin Freeman, 2 of his 8 points inside. But they couldn't keep Pitt off the boards. Isaac Hawkins, the putback and foul. Pitt up 66-62 after the free throw. Final moments now. UConn needs a 3. They call on the sophomore Albert Mooring, who dials it up. 69-68 Pitt. Key play now. Coming down, Khalid Elamine getting the game-winning hoop. And he says to everybody, hey, we are #1. Don't count us out, baby. Ball game. UConn a winner. Whoa. Go to the scoreboard. 70-69. Rip Hamilton, a tough shooting day, still had 15. UConn moves to 8-0 on the season, 1-0 in the Big East, thanks to Khalid Elamine, who saved the day and saved the top spot in the rankings for the Huskies as well.
Wow. Every game UConn's had a different star, and today Khalid Elamine was more like a hero against Pittsburgh. The Panthers came in ranked #20 in the nation after upsetting Kentucky earlier this year, and they looked like a giant killer in the first half. Jarrett Lockhart launched 4 threes. He had 19 points in the first half alone, and this is a guy that averages 8 points a game. He's not supposed to do that. Rip Hamilton struggled a bit again, 4-15 shooting. He did finish with 15, but the Huskies trailed by 5 at the half, and the lead got even bigger in the second. Isaac Hawkins on the jumper. Pitt's up by 13 points, but UConn makes a run. Kevin Freeman with a sweet pass to Jake Voskuhl. The lead is cut to 1 until Pitt seemingly pulled away. Vonteego Cummings, the three-point play. The bucket and the foul. The Panthers had a 4-point lead with 18 seconds left. And here comes UConn. Albert Mooring on his back with the 3. Now it's a 1-point game. Pitt trying to inbounds the ball. It goes to no one. Seconds ticking off. 7 seconds. Here comes Khalid Elamine. Oh my goodness. Even after seeing it, I still can't believe they won. UConn stays undefeated, winning 70-69, and they'll get to enjoy it for a while since they won't play again until December 23rd.
Another mess earlier in the week, and the competition gets tougher today, facing 20th ranked Pitt and their star guard Vonteego Cummings. But he was a non-factor at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse this afternoon. Jarrett Lockhart stole the show for the Panthers, ties the game early with the 3, and he was on fire in the first half. 19 of his 21 points before the break. From NBA range here, nice. Lockhart 4 for 4 from three-point land, and does it from inside as well. The offensive putback, check it out. Nice. Pitt went up 40-35 at the half and led by as many as 13 points in the second half to give the top-ranked unbeaten Huskies quite a scare. We check out the second half, and Richard Hamilton cuts the lead to 5, hits the 3. What a finish for the Huskies down the stretch. Khalid with a scoreless first half, but the 3 here, 68-65 Pitt. And Albert Mooring, as time is running out, gets the ball, and for 3. It's in. UConn within one. Pitt needed to inbound, that's it, but throws the ball away. Kevin Freeman recovers for UConn, gets it over to Khalid.
Elamine down the lane, spinning against Greer. The shot, good!
And it's good. UConn wins in dramatic fashion, 70-69, to improve to 8-0, winning their Big East opener.